Attitude check. Bronco Pike.
And welcome to a new edition of the Broncos on Blast Progress Report. I'm your host, Alex Podlogar, and we're coming to you from the campus of Fayetteville State University here at Luther Nick Gerald Stadium, where the Broncos have just concluded Tuesday's practice, and we are joined today by the defensive backs coach and the head recruiting coordinator of the Broncos, David Bowser. And Coach Bowser, happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
And first off, just your impressions of how the first week of practice has gone so far, and just the way things are going.
Okay, well, I can't complain, and the kids definitely shouldn't complain because the weather has been excellent for them. You know, it's been cool, and the weeks leading up to it, we thought it was going to be pretty hot, but now it's been pretty cool, so they've been pretty well refreshed throughout the practices. We got great numbers. We got over 100 guys in camp now, so we're excited about that part of it. So I think they've been doing well just because of the weather, and you just like for them to push themselves a little bit more, because when we start going to those afternoon practices when school starts, there's a good possibility it could be over 100 in the afternoon.
Like we said, you're all the DB's coach and also the head recruiting coordinator. We'll get to some recruiting news here in a minute, but first of all, talk about how the secondary is coming along in your view.
Okay, I think everything's been great just because we got great senior leadership with Joshua Wilkins and, of course, Andre Lyles, who has done an excellent job this summer and coming back and being in great physical shape and prepared for the year. And then we were able to move Joshua Scales from free safety to corner. That's going to be a big help. Simeon Marshall, who has 3 years left in the program, continues to improve every day. I think Chris Person is going to be a positive influence for us in the secondary and on special teams as a kick and punt returner. And we've got a young man that just came in from California at free safety named Jermaine Fox, very physical and fast young man. So we're doing well back there with the guys that we have on the first two, and then we got a lot of good freshmen that are working hard and absorbing a lot, and they're going to be able to help us in the near future.
You mentioned Andre Lyles, a preseason All-American choice here at Fayetteville State. He's come a long way, I know, since his beginnings here with the Broncos. Just talk about his maturation process.
Well, I think the biggest thing with Andre is people forget that he spent 2 years behind a very good, strong safety in Adrian Horton. And had Adrian not been here, we'd be sitting here talking about Lyles as a 4-year starter. So he was always the nickelback. That was a guy we could count on, made big plays in games down the stretch as a nickelback. And then last year, once he got used to going 45 to 50 snaps a game, you could see at the end of the year where he was making big plays for us. He's very physical, very athletic, fine, upstanding young man. He's the kind of guy that can lead your secondary, and those guys back there that's been going through camp, they look to him for leadership, and he's done an outstanding job with that.
You know, really, this was a secondary last year that, outside of John Hicks, was a pretty young secondary. It was one that really a lot of guys had a lot of on-the-field experience. That's where they grew. A lot of maturation in the position as a whole. Your thoughts about what they learned last year and how that can help going forward this year?
Well, the best thing that they learned is when you're down, don't stay down, because, you know, things started out a little rocky earlier in the year last year, and they felt like they were getting thrown on, and then by the end of the year, we were returning interceptions for touchdowns. We were setting the offense up off of picks, so they got strong as the year went on. One thing about it is when you can start getting that game experience, your confidence is different. You know, all these guys have to have that swagger about them, which they do, and they believe in themselves. But until you really get out there and you get your confidence tested by a guy who's just as fast as you, or a receiver that is as tall as you, and he's starting to jump over you to try to play the ball, then you've got to dig deep, and those guys are doing a great job of that. And now they come back, and we're battling in camp with our receiving core every day. We do different drills with one another to compete, and these guys are competing hard. I love it.
Yeah, this was a position that, and like I said, you're the recruiting coordinator, so you know a lot of these guys out here. You're pretty close to all of them. So you can probably speak to this. This has to be one of the deepest positions for the Broncos heading into this season as a whole, the secondary.
Yes, sir, because we knew that with what we lost 2 years ago, we needed to try to get as many guys in possible that would be able to battle and give us a good look, because competition makes it better. So when you sign 3 free safeties and all of them come in with a great attitude, and then you know, going on and signing Jermaine Fox late in the summer, so you bring in 4 free safeties, and they're all new, but they're all competing with each other, but they enjoy each other. 2 of them are roommates, so they compete on this field, but at the same time they understand the big picture, and that's Bronco football, so you got to love it. Then you got 2 guys that are backing up Andre Lyles, and Andre talks them through things. When they watch film, those guys still sit together and they talk. You know, some places it's hard to find guys that appreciate the program enough that they got healthy competition. Some guys try to tear things down, but those guys back there, the one thing I love about them is they hang together, they talk together. When we compete, they compete, and then when one guy's down and another guy's got to step in, we don't miss a beat. So the effort is there, and we're excited about the potential of all of them this year on that secondary.
Let's get into recruiting a little bit. This is the first week of football practice for a lot of the freshmen that you helped bring in. Your feelings on how some of the new guys are doing, how they're performing out there?
Okay, I think they're doing a great job because of the fact that we got 50 freshmen in here, but 20 of them were in summer school already. That's big. That really helped out because they were able to do some lifting and running and opportunities to bond together and know each other. So when the other 30 came in last week, they kind of slid right into the groove. And one thing that Coach Phillips has always done that I appreciate here is that if we've had success recruiting a school, he likes to go back to that school. So now some of the upperclassmen have gone to high school with these guys, and they're able to help them out by getting them a feel for what it is to be at Fayetteville State. So like, for instance, Goldsboro, which is a school that's very good to us. We've got several kids on that team. Hereford County, which has been great to us. We've got several kids on the team right now. Monroe High School has been good to us. So, you know, you get excited when you get good young men in here, but they've got upperclassmen who they looked up to when they were in the 9th and 10th grade to take them under their wing and show them some things and help them mature with us in this program.
You know, last week the Cumberland County Football Jamboree was here, hosted by Fayetteville State, and that's kind of been a big help for you guys as well, trying to get a lot more of the local kids into Fayetteville State and see it as more of an option for them to further their collegiate football career.
Yes, sir, because what happens is when you finally get an opportunity to get the high schools over here, and some of these kids can see the facilities that we have, and they get an appreciation for the turf field and the scoreboard and the bleachers and the stands and the way that our campus is progressing and growing, then they're willing to come back when we can finally make contact with them on taking a visit, and they're familiar with what's going on. And we got 11 kids last year that participated in the Jamboree, so that's a plus right there where you got an opportunity to get these kids on campus to see our facilities. And I think that, you know, Dr. McLean and Coach Phillips' vision for things with where we're headed with this program is very exciting. So I'm just hoping that Cumberland County will keep coming back here every year, so these kids, when we finally can contact them in September and October, will be interested in coming to a game here and seeing the Broncos play in the facilities that we have.
Well, good deal, Coach Bowser. We appreciate you taking some time out after practice to talk to us today. This is the man who doesn't have an off season here at Fayetteville State, David Bowser. And you've been watching the Broncos on Blast Progress Report. I'm Alex Podlogar. Be sure to check out all the latest in Fayetteville State athletics news at fsubroncos.com. Also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And again, the Broncos open their season right here at Gerald Stadium on September 3rd in the third Two Rivers Classic against UNC Pembroke. We'll see you again very soon.